Good morning, everybody. Here we are for our first week of CHY 107 in our first summer session. I'm Professor Staples, and I will be here to guide you through our process and guide you through the course. One of the things that I want to note right from the start is there's a reason that I use the term guide you through this process rather than I'm the one here to teach you the material. Certainly I am your professor, and it is my job to teach you the material. But I want to be very, very clear that especially in a summer chemistry course like this, a lot of the job is going to fall directly onto you. And your success in this course is going to be largely dictated by how much you personally invest in it and how much you simply make sure that you are really engaging with the material and engaging with the class and really taking ownership of your own learning and making sure that you are going into this with a mindset of it is my job to learn this material and I'm going to do it however I have to. And Professor Staples is there to help me, certainly. And he's there to keep things organized and keep me on task, keep me on schedule. But that it is my job to really make sure that I'm getting this. That's always my general educational philosophy anyway. But it's even more important in a course like this, that where we are compressed for time. We are packing an entire semester's worth of material into 7 weeks. That's a lot of work. Chemistry is hard to begin with. For many of you, it'll be the hardest undergrad course that you take. And so the difficulty of chemistry, coupled with compressing it into that 7 weeks, does mean you're going to have to work your tails off. And I like to be very upfront about that from the beginning. If you are sort of going into this, if you decided to take this class in the summer because you figured, well, I can just, I'm going to work full time, I'm going to do my whole summer thing, and I'm going to be as busy as I always in the summer, and I'm just going to sort of take this class on the side, and I'll get it out of the way because it's something I need, and I'll be fine. If you're going into that with that attitude, I really caution you to either change your mindset or basically just change your mind and take it during the regular semester instead. Again, because I believe in being very upfront that if you're going into it with that sort of mindset of, I'm just going to sort of take this class on the side and everything will be okay, there's a good chance you're not going to meet with success because the class is hard. And so all of that is now out of the way. I've given you your fair warning. So let's talk a little bit about how the class is going to run. This is an asynchronous online course, which means that you do not need to log in at particular times to watch me delivering live lectures or anything like that. All of the learning in the course can be done on completely your own time. We're going to go over in this video all the resources that you have at your disposal, but you can watch any of those videos or use those resources on your own schedule, on your own time. Assessments, however, must be taken on certain dates. And I've sent a couple emails out to that effect. And so hopefully you've taken a look at the schedule, and we'll take a look during this video on where you can find that information. So homeworks, for instance, will be due on certain dates, mostly Sundays with the exception of around Memorial Day. So homework will be due on certain dates. You can work on homework at any time. Homeworks are always open and available 10 days prior to their due date. In fact, some of you have already started working on homework 1, which is great. So the homeworks can be worked on at any time. They're just simply due by their due dates. Quizzes, though, there's going to be a quiz every week. Those must be taken on specific days. Most of those are on Tuesdays, again, with a little hiccup around Memorial Day, just to give you a little bit of extra breathing room for the holiday. So quizzes must be taken on those dates. The quiz, however, will be open for a full 24 hours. So for instance, your first quiz will take place next Tuesday. And again, we'll see where the schedule is, where you can see all of that. But next Tuesday, I'm just looking at what that date is, that'll be the 24th, will be your first quiz. The quiz will be open, and we'll take a look again at where you're going to take the quiz and the platform that you're going to use for your assessments in a little bit. But that quiz will be open and available from 12:01 a.m. on Tuesday the 24th until 11:59 p.m. on Tuesday the 24th. So you have that full 24-hour span, technically, I guess, 23 hours and 58 minutes but you have the full day open to you on the 24th to take that first quiz. And we'll talk a little bit more about quizzes and assessments later, but once you start it, you'll have an hour and 15 minutes, I believe I set it to finish your quizzes. Same thing with the midterm exam and the final exam. Dates are on the schedule. Again, you'll have the full 24 hours available, but there is a time limit once you begin the exam. And so I point that out because you really want to be looking at your schedules pretty carefully. Quizzes, I do drop the lowest one. So if you miss one because of some summer plans, that's not going to be a huge deal. The midterm and the final exam, however, if you are going to be completely out of, in an area, if you're going to be doing something that you will not be able to get any sort of internet access, you will not be able to take those exams, and they cannot be rescheduled. They're only going to be on those days. So check your schedule carefully, match it up against the schedule that we're going to see on here in just a minute, and make sure that you are available on those assessment dates because they must be taken on those days. All right, I think that's about it as far as some of the logistics and my warnings about things. Let's take a little bit of a look at the course itself. Let's pull up web page here. Here we go. So this website here, which I provided you with the link in this email and several others, this website is our central hub, or really one of our central hubs for the course. Pretty much all of the various information that you need for the course can be found right here, such as we have the syllabus right here, the schedule that I talked about. And then we have through here just some helpful pages for you. For instance, if you click on this and go to the Learning Commons, Strategies for Success, these are some of the various tools that are available for you at the Learning Commons. And most of these are available online. For instance, tutoring is available online and so forth. So there's some tips to help you succeed, as well as this tab of study tips. Just various things that will help you be successful with this course. Another thing that you'll find on this page is this guide to communicating with your professors. One of the things that I find is, and I know that I'm generalizing here because you don't all fit into one certain mold, but many of you are not too far out of high school, a little bit younger than me, and you simply have different ways of communicating than some of us do. And that can sometimes just lead to some difficulties in communication. And so I've put this webpage up just to give you some hints about how to communicate with professors. For instance, which email address you should use, what you should address in an email, and so forth. Just take a look through that. It will help you, I think, not only in this course, but just as you move through your college careers in general. Will just help you communicate better with your instructors and your professors. I will say, for the most part, for this course, I would always when you send me an email, always use your university email address. If not, sometimes they go to my spam folder and I don't see them. So always use your main.edu accounts to send me emails. And also put CHY 107 in the subject line. That way I'm able to look at it, just see that quickly and know that you're emailing about this class. Because honestly, it's the summer. This is definitely my priority for the summer, is this course. Other things aren't so much my priority. And so I don't necessarily look at my emails relating to other things that quickly. However, if I see it's labeled CHY 107, I'll look at that email almost immediately. So this is just a couple of things to help communicate with as we go on. Office hours. And so again, asynchronous online course, but I certainly have time set aside to meet with students as you go through some of our difficult material. If you want some extra help from me, absolutely set an appointment to meet with me. For the most part, I'm available. I'm making myself available from 10 to 3 on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. Now, that doesn't mean that I'm going to be just sitting by my computer waiting for somebody to hop on Zoom and hoping something happens. You need to schedule that meeting so that I'm able to plan ahead. And so schedule that meeting at least 2 hours in advance. But if you click right on this link here, that will bring you to Scheduler. So for instance, if you wanted to meet with me on Wednesday, You just click right there, Wednesday at 11 a.m. I'm not going to click it here, but you would click confirm. And then this would also provide you with the Zoom link for our meeting. If you're not available on those during those times and you definitely want to meet with me, shoot me an email and we can arrange some other time to meet. But those are the times that I have set aside to definitely be available to meet with students. Again, just as long as you schedule that a couple hours in advance so that I can plan my day. I also have available on here a Zoom study room. This is just a place for you to come together if you want. If 3 or 4 of you want to come together and work on some practice problems, just talk about the course, just sort of meet and get together, this is a room that's available for you to do so. It'll always be open. It's open and available 24 hours a day. And so you can hop in there at any time just to work with each other. So other things on the website, a little bit about the course itself, and then the required materials. And so really the only real required material for this course is access to this Achieve website. So that's the other real central hub for the course, is this website here, Achieve. I'll sign into mine so you can, and we're going to go through this in a little bit more detail later. And I also have another video that just centers around the resources available in here. Oh, let's see if I can remember my password. Oh, is it saved right there? Okay. Uh-oh. There we go. Okay. And so we have our Achieve platform here. I can see 11 of you have already signed up. That's great. About 20 more of you to go. And so this website here, and again, we're going to go through some of this in a little bit more detail, but this platform here contains your textbook for one thing. There's a digital version of your textbook available here. So right, starting here with our first chapter on matter and energy. So your textbook is found on this platform, as well as all of your various assessments. And so when we go to assignments here, some of these you can't see quite yet. Here, let me change this to a student preview. So for your assignments, for instance, homework 1. And so you'll find your homework here. All of your quizzes will be taken on this platform. Your midterm and your final exam will be taken on this platform. And so access to this platform and signing up for Achieve are absolutely requirements for this course. You must sign up for an Achieve account because again, pretty much all of your grade, with the exception of about 10%, which we'll talk about, but 90% of your grade is going to be determined by the assessments you'll take on this Achieve platform. And so there are some instructions here for registering for your Achieve account. And I've mentioned this already in an email as well. But there's a couple different ways that you can sign up for Achieve. One way that you can sign up for it, a couple different ways you can pay for it. But either way, you're going to need to go to this website right here, achieve.mcmillanlearning.com. Go through the instructions here and you can start up the course. You do have, and I forget if it's 10 or 14 days, but there is a free trial period that will have full access to everything. And so if you're not able to purchase the access immediately, and it's about $80 for this, for access to it, if I remember right, somewhere in that ballpark. But you do have a free trial version, which would gain you full access. You would just have to pay by the end of that trial. 2 different ways to pay. One is that you can go through our eCampus, our online bookstore, and you can purchase your digital code that way. If you do that, then again, for some reason, it takes like 5 to 7 days for them to virtually e-deliver your access code to you. Don't know why that is. But so if you did that, that's where you would want to definitely sign up for the free trial version first, and then you could use that digital code to upgrade to the paid version later. You can also pay for it directly through the site itself. And honestly, if you don't need to go through the bookstore for financial aid reasons, I'd recommend that. It's just easier to pay for it right on the site itself. And so if you do go through the bookstore, though, you would receive a digital code. That digital code is what would allow you to then upgrade to the paid version of Achieve, which would give you the long-term access that you need. That digital code, and it's been a source of confusion for a couple people, that digital code is different from the course ID. Once you are in Achieve, once you have your account in Achieve, you will use this course ID to actually get into our class. And so that's different from just the digital code you might need in order to sign up for the platform to begin with. And so that is really the big piece of required material that you do need for this course, is the access to Achieve. Note that I have seen some students that have difficulty using Safari. I'd recommend Google Chrome. I've never had any issues using, this is my second summer now using this platform, and I've never heard of any major issues using Chrome. Our textbook is this textbook here, The Essentials of General Organic and Biochemistry by Denise Gwynn. We're using the 3rd edition. The textbook that you receive on Achieve, the e-textbook, is the exact same. You do not need to purchase another textbook. If for some reason if you are a person that does just prefer a hardcover copy of a book, then if you just Google this right here, Google Essentials of General Organic Biochem, blah, 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 I'm sure you can find a copy of that somewhere. You will need a scientific calculator. It must have log function and scientific notation capability. Please do not rely on your phone app. You will not be allowed to use your phone on any assessments. We'll talk about assessments a little bit more later, but I would not rely on your phone. I would, if you don't have one, just purchase a cheap, simple scientific calculator. It does not have to be a big old graphing calculator like the big TIs. You don't need that. Anything that will handle simple scientific notation and log functions would be absolutely fine. The other thing that you'll find on the front page of our website here is just a link to tutoring. So there is one-on-one tutoring available through our Learning Commons, and they are able to set up either Zoom or live meetings. And so if you're looking for a little extra help in the course, this is a great way to get it. And so let's go through some of the other features. Let's go through things like looking at the syllabus. Let me pop this out and make it bigger. So just a couple things on the syllabus. Talked about some of this, my availability for office hours and so forth, course description. We talked about the required materials. Let's just look at your assessment piece a little bit. And so, like I said, about 90% of your assessments will be taking place on Achieve. The other 10% is based on a participation grade, which you will find in, or which you will earn by participating in a discussion forum on Brightspace. It's pretty much the only thing that I do use Brightspace for in this course. But let's take a look at that. So if you go to our Brightspace page for the class, so here we go, summer session 1. Oh, that's from 2021. I want hours, sorry. 2022 summer, first session, here we go. And so if you go to assessments, discussions, you'll see some different categories here. And so there's one category for just general questions, and you'll see that a few people have already started interacting here, which is great. A couple questions about Achieve, a couple questions about course assignments, accessing the course, which is exactly what one of the things that this discussion forum feature is for, is to ask some general questions like that and post them in a place where everybody can see the answers. And so this question from Ananda, for instance, and I apologize if I'm pronouncing your name incorrectly, but there were some questions regarding seeing the homework and what some of the course content in Achieve and what the requirements were there. And Ananda had emailed me directly, and I answered the questions there, but I also posted my answer to the questions right in here so that everybody could see it, because I'm sure other people had these same questions. And so now it's available and out there for everyone to take a look at. We also have a breakdown by content. And so, for instance, if you have questions regarding atomic structure, come right into the atomic structure forum, post your question. And so maybe start a new thread. Maybe you want to know, for instance, how do you determine the number of protons? And so you might enter the subject of maybe number of protons. And then maybe your question is, how do you determine the, typing is hard this morning, number of protons in an element? And then you're going to post it up there. And so now this thread would be open and available for anyone to shoot some answers to and bounce back and forth. I will monitor this as well and answer questions as best I can. But again, the advantage is that everyone is seeing the answers and everyone has a chance to engage in that conversation and see what's going on. And also, frankly, it's a way for you to maybe get answers quicker. I try to be as proactive as I can about answering emails and quick about answering emails through a summer session like this, especially. But I'm not always going to be right on top of my computer and able to answer questions immediately. And so you might get an answer to your question from a classmate faster than I would be able to provide them to you. So if you have content-specific questions, something that's confusing you about something that we're studying, please post them here on the Brightspace discussion rather than emailing me. Again, it's not that I don't want you to email me. It's not that I don't want to interact with you in that way, but this is a much more efficient method of that communication that enables the whole class to see it and engage in it. And the other thing that you will see, so we have sort of those general content related questions, also homework help. And so with the homework help, what I do not want is asking or just flat out giving answers. That's just cheating. What I do want here are things like, I'm having trouble with question 23 on homework 5. What equation do I use? And so just those little nudges and that little bit of help, or I'm confused as to what this question is actually asking. Can somebody help me there? Absolutely, post those sorts of questions here and we'll see if we can get some discussion going there. As well as, if you come across some interesting chemistry in the news articles, post them here. Let's chat about it. And then finally, make us laugh. There's all sorts of good chemistry jokes and memes out there. Post them up there. Let's have a little fun with it. And so your Brightspace discussions in general, the expectation is, in order for full credit, I will be looking for 10 contributions in both halves of the course, so to speak. So the first half of the course up until the midterm, I'll be looking for 10 contributions. And then the second half of the course, from the midterm until the final, I'll be looking for another 10 contributions. That averages to about 3 to 4 per week. If you're active and engaged in the course, that's very easy to do. And so a contribution means that you're either starting a thread or replying to one, just some sort of interaction on that Brightspace discussion. And so I'll be looking for, again, 10 in each half of the course. Then when we look at your other, just the other assessment pieces, quizzes, instead of be a quiz every week, those are worth 20% of your grade. Most quizzes are on Tuesdays. There is an exception that it is Wednesday after Memorial Weekend. And there is also no quiz the week following the midterm. Quizzes, you will have an hour and 15 minutes once you begin. Again, cannot be taken on alternate days, must be taken on their scheduled day. If you do miss a quiz, it's a 0. There will be a total of 5 quizzes. The lowest will be dropped. Homework. Most weeks, homework is due Sunday by 11:59 p.m. So for instance, your homework 1 is up and available now. It is due Sunday the 22nd by 11:59 p.m. Those due dates will not be extended. And so you have to stay on top of that. You have to be on time with that. I will not extend the due dates for those homework assignments, including last minute technical issues. I mean, you email me on Monday and say, Professor Staples, I sat down to do my homework 6 o'clock last night on Sunday and my computer was dead. What do I do? It sounds harsh, but I'm going to say tough luck. And so you do have to plan accordingly. I understand that you're busy. I understand that everyone's summer schedules are incredibly full, including mine. Plan ahead, plan accordingly. don't save these things for the last minute because things will happen. 5 homework assignments, and the lowest homework assignment will also be dropped. And then we have the midterm and the final exam. You can find some more information about all of those on the assessment information page of the website. So again, all assessments take place through Achieve. Purchasing access to Achieve is absolutely required. And then you do have your homework due dates here as well. When you are working on the homework, you have unlimited attempts at each homework question. However, there is a 5% deduction for each incorrect attempt. So you can't just sit there guessing answers and still get full credit for that. You are going to be deducted 5% for each incorrect answer. I haven't talked this much for a couple of weeks now. The nice thing about online homework platforms, though, as compared to sitting down with pencil and paper, is that you are provided with hints and feedback as you work on the assignments, as well as links to the various resources in the book that would help you. But when you are sitting down to actually do your graded homework, it would have been a good idea to have done some of the practice beforehand, and we'll see where some of that practice can come from later. And then you also have your quiz dates, that's some information about the quizzes and the quiz dates down here. You see here as well, if we scroll down a little bit further, so again, yeah, you've got your midterm and your final dates. So I've got to adjust that one. That is still from last summer. So let me make sure I fix that, make myself a little note. Sorry about this. Okay. You will be allowed various resources to use during quizzes and exams. For all quizzes and exams, you're definitely allowed to use a scientific calculator. You're also allowed a periodic table. Use this one that's linked right here. So use this periodic table for all of your exams and your quizzes. I would print this off so you have it available on paper in front of you. And this is a listing here of all other resources you're allowed to use for each assessment. For instance, on quiz 1, you're allowed to use this Vesper chart here. And if Vesper doesn't sound familiar to you at all, it should within a few days after you dive into the material. So we have this Vesper chart here. And then quiz 2, again, you can see here all the various resources that you're allowed to use on each assessment. Some general thoughts. I'm not going to really go into those much. I would just go ahead and make sure that you're reading through that and looking at that on your own time. So, okay. I think that was about it from the syllabus. The other thing, major thing that you will see on the front page of the website is our course schedule. Let me just pop this out and make it a little bit bigger. So you can see here's our first week. And so you can see that these are all the different topics that we're covering: matter, energy, and measurement, atomic structure, compounds and molecules, molecular geometry. And if you click on each of these, it will take you directly to the page in the website that has the details related to that topic. So you can see here on the sidebar here, topic details, matter and energy. And so these are the goals of that particular topic. We're going to understand the basics of matter and energy, identify proper units for measurement, perform calculations using the appropriate number of significant figures, use dimensional analysis, and so forth. And then under each of those objectives, it tells you really what you should do in order to learn and to master that material, and what your target is as far as your learning. And so after objective 2, identifying proper units for measurements, upon successful completion of that objective, you should be able to identify your appropriate units for various types of measurements and convert units using the metric system. And so that takes you, again, on the link on the schedule takes you directly to this page. The other thing that you'll see on these pages are materials. We'll take a look at the videos that I link in a little bit, but all of my videos are based on these slides. And so you have copies of the slides here. You'll also see supplemental videos. So a little bit just more, for instance, on metric conversions, any informational handouts, and some general practice, separate from the practice you'll find on Achieve. The other thing that you will see on the schedule, and I'll have to change that course intro video to this one that I'm making right now. But the other thing that you will see are links to the various lecture videos. And so how are you going to, let's start talking about that a little bit. How are you going to learn all of this material? There's a ton of material here. And so one way is that you are going to simply use the Achieve platform and all of the various resources there. And so when you go, for instance, into course content, and we dive into chapter 1, you'll see here that we have links to the reading. So this will bring you directly to the textbook itself and the appropriate reading there. You'll also see within Achieve, I can get it to go back. Here we go. You'll also see in here, there's a couple of videos that will help you out, some interactive demonstrations, a bunch of practice. None of this would be collected, so to speak, or for an assessment. These are all just the resources to help you learn the material. And I'm not going to get as much into that. Instead, I would point you to, what am I looking for here? The lecture videos tab. I would point you to this video here, which will go over really in depth how to use some of those different resources in Achieve to help you learn the material. The other thing you should be doing to help learn the material are watching these lecture videos. So again, it's an online asynchronous course, but lecture is still an important part of a course like this. Me explaining the material to you. You should be reading definitely reading the text and looking through and trying to figure out what is being talked about in there. But chemistry textbooks are hard, and just reading it probably isn't going to give you, you're not going to read the text and go, well, okay, I get that now. 100%, I understand what's going on. I mean, you might with some of it, but chances are that's not going to happen regularly. So that's what these lecture videos are. These are videos that I put together just like this, just like the video I'm making here. And it's the same exact thing basically that you would get if we were having a live course. It's the same, based on the same slides that I would use, and I talk about things in the same way. But so this is how I'm delivering that lecture material to you. You'll see that some weeks there's a lot to watch. For instance, these are all of the videos that you should watch for week 1. If you add that up, that adds up to about 4 hours worth of just watching these lectures. Sounds like a lot, doesn't it? Oh my God, what's this guy doing to me? 4 hours of lectures I have to watch? Yes. But again, if you think about that, if this were a live course that we were meeting during the summer, we would have class meetings totaling about 5.5 hours every week. So that would be 5.5 hours of me standing up there talking to you. This is only 4. There are a couple weeks that are more lecture video heavy than others. For instance, here in week 2, what do we have? A half hour. You've only got about maybe 1.5 hours, 2 hours worth of actual videos to watch. And so some of that will fluctuate. The first week, though, there is quite a bit. And so plan accordingly. And so that's the other way that you will learn this material, is by watching me talk about it. And you can see if you click on any of these, it simply brings you to the YouTube video. And now we have just a quick video to look at the actual arrangement of electrons around the nucleus of an atom. So when we talked about atomic structure and so forth, and so it brings you directly to a lecture video of me talking about the topic. So that's how that's using all of those resources, on Achieve, using these lecture videos, using some of the resources available on these materials pages in the topic details. That's how you're going to learn the material. Again, hopefully you're starting to see that what I talked about in the very beginning of this intro video, when I said this is going to take a lot of work and you need to plan for that. Hopefully you're starting to see that. I mean, just watching the lectures for you this week is going to take you up to 4 hours. That doesn't count the reading. That doesn't count the extra practice that you're going to do. That doesn't count doing your homework and so forth. you are going to need to devote a lot of time to this course. If you feel that you're already crunched for time this summer, you're already really, really busy and you're trying to just sort of squeeze this in, again, I actually would recommend to you that you wait and take the course during a regular, quote, regular semester. That's just my personal opinion and my personal advice. I'd be happy to talk about that with anyone further. But once again, I do just always, I'm always very upfront with the amount of work that a course like this will take. And you're starting to see that just looking at all the videos you have to watch and all the work that you're going to have to do this first week. What else do I need to talk about with you? Announcements. So any of the emails that I send out to you, if you don't feel like digging for those later, you'll be able to find copies of those right here. Although I'm not sure why. Oh, I need to update that one as well. But you should be able to find copies yeah, find any emails that I am sending out to the class. You can find right here as well. And I think, honestly, that might be about it for our intro video. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I really need to talk about. Every week, every Monday, I will be sending out an email just to sort of ground us for the week and give a little highlight preview of what we will be talking about and covering that week, with a couple of appropriate links usually in those emails. And I'll be sending out messages periodically just about various things that are encountered, various things that we find. But again, I hope that most of our discussion can take place via this Brightspace platform. Great way for us just to be able to communicate with each other. Was there anything else I needed to mention on the schedule? So again, on the schedule, bouncing back and forth a little bit here, but you do have you see your due dates for your homeworks. Homework 1 due Sunday, May 22nd. Quiz 1 will be done Tuesday, May 24th. Again, available 12:01 to 11:59. And each of these links do link you directly to Achieve as well. And I think that might be it for our course intro video. Hopefully that answers some of the questions you may still have. If there are still some questions, definitely feel free to post something up on the Brightspace page or email me directly if it's not something that you want to have a public conversation about. But in general, you will find that I'm pretty available through the summer. I pride myself on responding to emails pretty quickly when I'm able to. And so communication, talk to me, and we will all make it through this together. All right. I hope everyone has a great day, and welcome to the class.